The meeting is called to order. May I request Commissioner Gandhi to please lead us for a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. I will now do roll call for the Wednesday, December 6th Planning Commission meeting. Commissioner Byrd,
Present.
Commissioner Gandhi,
Present.
Commissioner Polito,
Present.
Vice Chair Gilheis,
Present.
Chair Javeri.
Present.
All commissioners noted present. Thank you.
Next, we have public comments and suggestions. If anybody in the audience have anything to say other than the agenda item, this is your time. Please come forward, state your name, and you have 5 minutes. Seeing none, public comments and suggestions closed. Next is the approval of the October 4, 2023 minutes. May we have a
I'd like to make a motion to
Motion.
approve the minutes from the Wednesday, October 4th meeting. We continued that over due to not getting the vote last time, and we didn't have all our members on the panel here. So now that we have everybody back, I'd like to make that motion to approve Wednesday, October 4th Planning Commission meeting minutes.
Second.
Thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. I will go ahead and call for a vote. We have a motion by Vice Chair Gilheis and a second by Commissioner Byrd to approve the Wednesday, October 4th, 2023 Planning Commission regular meeting minutes. Roll call vote. Commissioner Byrd,
Aye.
Commissioner Gandhi.
I'd like to abstain.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Polito,
Abstain.
Vice Chair Gilheis,
Approve.
Chair Javeri.
yes.
Motion passes 3-0 to 2 with 2 commissioners abstaining, Commissioner Gandhi and Commissioner Politos. Thank you.
Next is the approval of November 1, 2023 minutes. May we have the motion?
I make a motion to approve it.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Commissioners. We have a motion made by Commissioner Gandhi and a second by Vice Chair Gilheis to approve the Wednesday, November 1st Planning Commission regular meeting minutes. We'll do roll call, please. Commissioner Byrd,
Aye.
Commissioner Gandhi,
Yes.
Commissioner Polito,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gilheis,
Yes.
Chair Javeri.
Abstain.
Thank you. Motion passes 4-0 to 1 with Chair Javeri abstaining. Thank you.
Sorry. Next item on the agenda is the approval of it's the consideration for precise plan 2023-17 to construct a 433 square foot first floor addition.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good evening. Item 7A this evening is consideration of Precise Plan 2023-17, a proposal by the residential property owner to construct a first floor addition and add a new second floor to an existing one-story home. Tonight's presentation for item 7A will be provided by Associate Planner Matre Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Good evening, Chair and members of the Cerritos Planning Commission. The property owner at 18012 Martha Place is proposing a 433 square foot first floor addition and to add a new 1,293 square foot second floor addition to an existing single family home. For details of this project, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen. This is an aerial photo of the subject property, which is located north of 183rd Street and west of Carmenita Road. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? This is an enlarged aerial view that shows the details of the property. The property is bordered on the north, south, and east by single-family homes, and on the west by Martha Place, across from which are also single-family homes. This is a view of the front of the existing one-story house looking east from Martha Place. This is a view looking north at an existing unpermitted patio in the rear yard. In order to comply with the Cerritos Municipal Code, project-specific condition of approval 42 has been added to require the unpermitted patio to be removed as part of the proposed project. This is a view of the side yard looking west at an unpermitted storage shed and overgrown vegetation along the southern property line. Project-specific condition of approval 43 has been added to require the removal of the unpermitted shed along the southern property line, and project-specific condition approval 44 has been added to require all overgrown vegetation and plant material along all property lines be trimmed back and wholly contained on the subject property. This is the adjacent neighbor plan, which shows the location of second-story windows of the subject property and their relationship to existing windows on adjacent properties. As shown on the plans, the homes to the north and east of the subject property are single-story residences. The home to the south of the subject property is a two-story residence. However, no second-story windows of the addition align with the second-floor windows of the home to the south. Therefore, there are no private concerns related to the issues arising from window placement on the subject property. This is the proposed site plan. As mentioned, the applicants are proposing a 433 square foot first floor addition and to add a new 1,293 square foot second floor to the existing single resident. As proposed, the project meets all setbacks and lot coverage requirements. This is the proposed first floor plan. Upon completion, the first floor will include a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a master bedroom with master bathroom, 2 additional bedrooms, a family room, a bathroom, and a half bathroom, and a laundry room. This is the proposed second floor plan. Second floor will include a junior suite bedroom with a bathroom and a walk-in closet, 2 additional bedrooms, 1 more bathroom, a laundry room, and a loft. This is the front elevation. The residence will be finished with a white colored stucco in dark brown trim. 6-inch wide brown colored hardy board siding will be featured on portions of the front and side elevations. In addition, the front elevation will include decorative stone veneer, which will wrap around the side elevations along the areas that are publicly visible. The front elevation also features a balcony that overlooks the subject property's front yard and Martha Place. This is the rear elevation. The roof of the residence will be covered with a chestnut-colored stone-coated metal, which is consistent with the existing roof material. This is the north side elevation. Here you can see the proposed balcony located on the north elevation. The proposed balcony is solid on the sides and the majority of the front. The balcony also faces the roof of the adjacent single-story home to the north. Due to its location and design, potential privacy issues are minimized relative to the adjacent residence. This is the south elevation, which features the same architectural elements as indicated on previous slides. All colors and materials will be subject to the approval of the Department of Community Development to ensure that these elements complement the entire house and surrounding neighborhood. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Precise Plan 2023-17, subject to all the conditions of approval contained in the report. This project is categorically exempt from SEQA review. To date, staff has received one written correspondence from a neighbor in response to the public hearing notice and prior to the publication of the agenda materials. In this correspondence, the neighbor expressed concerns about the previously mentioned unpermitted shed on the southerly property line, overgrown vegetation, and construction noise and dust as a result of the proposed project. These issues and concern have been proactively addressed in the staff report by way of standard conditions of approval and additional project-specific conditions of approval to reduce potential impacts of the project and the adjacent surrounding properties. The architect and homeowner are in the audience, and we are happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for my fellow commissioners?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I just had one question on Exhibit 12. By the windows on the left side, there's something there, and I just wanted to know what that was in the photo. I don't know if it was a planter or...
Thank you, Commissioner Polito. I think what you're referring to is, and if I may get clarification, at the lower side of the elevation, kind of projecting over the window, is that correct? Yeah, so this is going to, pursuant to the site plan, this is going to be a new private garden area proposed by the applicant, and so it's been included in the rendering, although you'll see on the site plan or in the presentation packet, Exhibit 18, it is a new private garden, but it has been shown on the elevation as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. So I apologize, I'm not an expert at reading these drawings and stuff.
This is the question for the staff, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, looks like there's a balcony on the front. I don't see a balcony on the back, but is there like a wraparound balcony on the side when you look at Exhibit 13? Or is that, I just can't tell if the far right,
Yes, so Commissioner, that's the north side elevation, Exhibit 13, which is the balcony that faces north. And then on the far right, that is the front portion of the balcony that's in the front.
okay, so you will be able to stand on the balcony from the side and the front.
In actuality, there's a balcony in the front, but you won't be able to see anything from the way that the balcony is designed.
Okay,
It's a solid wall that goes all the way up.
okay. So you can't walk around to that
No,
side?
you cannot.
You'll be standing in the front, facing the front. If you tried to face that direction,
Yeah,
you're just
if
gonna have
you
a wall there.
If you take a look at
Okay.
the floor plan, you will be able to see how that balcony on the second floor plan works.
Okay. And then another question is, when we were looking at the photos, and it's hard to, when you drive by, to look at like the overgrowth. Is all of that overgrowth from this house, or is it from both houses that we see in the pictures?
The overgrowth is
Like-
from the front portion on the right side of the property. It looks like there's a bougainvillea plant that I believe started on this side of the property and has
Has
its
grown
way
to the
over.
other side?
Yes.
So we're talking Exhibit 5, Picture 2.
Yes.
That bougainvillea, the red on the right, we think it's in the property we're looking at,
Yes.
and it's just grown on to the other side as well.
Yes.
Okay. So I couldn't see a shed in view one. And so I'm not sure, is there a shed? Are we saying there's a shed behind this overgrown area?
So
That's going to come out?
that is the shed right here.
Okay.
This is the southern property line. This is the access gate to the rear yard. This is the shed that's literally in this area here.
Okay.
And it's masked by the vegetation
Okay.
and the tree.
And as part of the approval here, they'd have to pull that out.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have any more questions at the moment. If someone wants to speak.
Thank you. Commissioner Gandhi.
So the correspondence we got from a neighbor that mentions the shed that's built is the shed that we are requiring them to remove.
That is correct.
Okay, so the concern about the shed that the neighbor had is being addressed?
Yeah, it was addressed in the initial review of the project.
Okay. It just needed some clarification. You mentioned the balcony is such that you can't see anything.
So the way, if I can get you to turn to the floor plan, the second floor plan, which would be exhibit number 9. So from the side yard, hold on, let me get, my apologies. So from the side yard, this is a low wall here. So you just see the low wall here. You cannot access this. I believe the clarification was, can they access the balcony? Can you walk around to the balcony? And the answer is no.
Okay.
You can. This balcony is just at the front. It does not attach to the side.
So
balcony.
there's two separate balconies.
That is correct.
Okay, and it's not that the balcony is such that you can't see through it,
No,
because it seems to have some kind of a railing in there.
the railing is, I believe, at a. Hold on, one moment, please. So the balcony is low in the front and it's solid. And if you look at it in this elevation rendering, that this is the only portion where you can see through. This is approximately 48 inches, as required by the building code. You can only see through this portion. You cannot see through it on this side.
Okay.
And because this balcony is on the side of the house, you cannot see through the side of the house this way.
And the other balcony is the same dimension.
It's designed in the same exact manner. And that balcony overlooks just the first floor roof of the home.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner.
I have another question, sorry. So in reading the email from the neighbors, so they talk about the shed's built against the wooden fence, and they're using the fence to support it, and they're saying it's unsafe, but the conditions talk about there'll be a block wall that will be put in around the property line, I guess, of the property, because it says, it doesn't say anything about a wood fence being put back up. It talks about a block wall. So is that what's replacing the wood fence?
No, it is currently existing a block wall. It is a solid block wall along the southern property line.
So,
The gate is made out of wood, but there is a block wall along the southern property line.
okay, so I apologize. My confusion is their email says that there's a shed built on a wooden fence, and the fence is supporting the shed.
It's a wooden fence extension, but that is a block wall along the southern property line.
Okay, so bear with me. In my mind, there's 3 walls in a backyard. You got 2 sides in the back. Are all 3 walls a block wall?
Yes.
Okay,
And there's a wooden fence extension along the southern property line that was put up.
okay. Thank you for that. And then the other question is, sometimes we get these drawings and they have like the vegetation or the plants and the landscaping and stuff, but then I see a little bit here. Is there more detail about what trees are on the property that would stay or not stay? I saw in the pictures there's some fruit trees. Can you give us more detail on the landscaping?
So in the plans itself, it states that the rear yard will be turf, grass. It does not mention trees, but you can plant in your backyard. However, you need to maintain that wholly onto your property. That is a requirement of our municipal code.
Okay,
But we have established the conditions of approval to require that they maintain the vegetation wholly on their property.
so they could still go turf and still maintain their trees.
Yes, they
The
can.
turf would just be around the trees.
Yes.
But we've put in the condition that that'll be maintained and it'll come back off the property line. Okay. Okay, I think that's all my questions. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Thank you, commissioners. Moving on the subject, if anybody in the audience has any questions, please come forward, state your name, your address, and you have 5 minutes. Saying none, suggestions section closed. Anybody else, anybody from the commissioners who have any questions for the homeowners or the architect? They are present in the audience. Saying none.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion for precise plan 2023-17.
Thank you, members of the Planning Commission. I have a motion by Commissioner Gandhi and a second by Commissioner Byrd. In just a moment, I'll activate the vote and the commissioners can vote on their screen. Actually, if I may, it appears there might be an issue. Is there one commissioner who does not have the vote icon on their screen? Okay. In lieu of an electronic vote, I'm going to do a roll call vote. Okay? Okay. So in lieu,
I think if you just
Do-
tap the screen, you'll get to the. There you go.
okay, if I may, thank you, members of the commission. If I may, at this time, ask for the commission to place their votes. Okay. Thank you. Well, I'm going to, for this item, going to call for a roll call vote. If I may, again, I have because my screen cleared, I had the motion by Commissioner Gandhi and a second by Commissioner Byrd. Is that correct? Thank you. Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Byrd,
Yay.
Commissioner Gandhi,
Yes.
Commissioner Polito,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gilheist,
Yes.
Chair Javeri.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 7B, consideration of precise plan 2023-18.
Yes, thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. As mentioned, item 7B this evening is consideration of Precise Plan 2023-18, a proposal to construct a first and second floor addition and a new single-car garage addition to an existing two-story residence. This project was brought before the Planning Commission earlier this year, and I'll defer to current planning manager Sandy Cisneros to provide details of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen, and good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. So the property owners, as mentioned, are requesting approval of Precise Plan 2023-18 to demolish a majority of the existing two-story residence and to construct a 1,300 square foot first floor addition, 148 square foot garage addition, and a 1,529 square foot second floor addition to the existing single-family residence, and it's on a 9,714 square foot property. So this project may seem familiar to some of the members of the Planning Commission. As Chris had mentioned, I wanted to go over some of the entitlement history and why it has been resubmitted again for Planning Commission consideration. So this project was first brought before us in front of staff in May of 2020, and it was at that time provided the number of Precise Plan 2020-4, which was administratively approved large room addition, and at that time it was during the COVID-19 executive order. So the Cerritos Planning Commission meetings were not being held, so these large room additions were brought before the Planning Commission. So this project, as I said, first came to us during that time. Subsequent to the 2020 approval, the large room addition was submitted into Building and Safety for plan check. However, the Building and Safety plan check related to the project expired due to inactivity, and no construction commenced, and so that project kind of died at that point. Then in 2023, the applicants resubmitted the project with a new proposal, which was approved by the Cerritos Planning Commission on January 11th of this year as Precise Plan 2023-3. And that included an increase in size from the 2020 approval, as well as some design element modifications. So again, this project was submitted at that time. So in October of this year, October 3rd, planning staff was contacted by the applicant's architect and indicated that the property owner wanted to make some minor modification to the windows in the great room and foyer area. And after reviewing the file and the date of the commission approval, the applicant and the architect were both informed that the project expired by time. So in the municipal code, the Precise Plan is valid for 6 months, and then it's invalid without any activity. So, by talking with the architect and the homeowners, they were just, fine-tuning the review of the plans, and then I think their engineering drawings took quite a while to prepare. And so they've resubmitted again because, it's basically written in the municipal code that it expired because it had been over 6 months. So that's 10 months, right? So anyway, so the property owner has resubmitted this proposal as Precise Plan 2023-18. They are ready to submit the construction plans to the Building and Safety Division for plan check, and they have indicated that they will have no further extensions or Precise Plan approvals will be needed if the commission deems this project for approval again. And then I wanted to go over the project for those that were not on the commission at that time, and also go over the details. So I'm gonna head to the screen here. So this is the location of the property, which is at 4451 Taos Circle, and it's generally located north of Del Amo Boulevard, west of Denny Street, near the city of La Palma border. The property is bordered on the north and west by the Los Angeles County Flood Control District, Coyote Creek River Channel. The subject property is bordered on the east by single-family residential property zoned RS 6500. The property is bordered on the south by the cul-de-sac of Taos Circle, which is a 56-wide residential street. And across the street are various residential properties also zoned RS 6500. This is a view of the front of the existing two-story residence looking north from Taos Circle. At this time, timber blocks that simulate wood planks and various boulders have been placed in the city parkway in front of the front yard, which is in violation of the Cerritos Municipal Code requirements. Project-specific condition of approval 43 has been added to require that the timber block and boulders be removed and the parkway be restored with live organic ground cover to comply with the Cerritos Municipal Code requirements. This is a view of the front yard of the existing two-story residence looking west. Along the south front property line, there is an existing 6-foot-high redwood fence, and that's shown on this slide, which is a violation of the Cerritos Municipal Code fencing requirements. This type of wall is considered a return wall in the municipal code, which is required to be constructed of decorative block in the single-family residential areas. Therefore, project-specific condition of approval 42 has been added to require that the property owner remove and replace the existing non-conforming wood fence and replace it with a decorative block wall to bring the property into conformance with the Cerritos Municipal Code requirements. This is a view of the rear of the existing two-story residence, and that's looking south. This is the adjacent neighbor plan as shown on the plan. There are no direct window alignments of windows with the adjacent one-story residence to the east. To the north, the subject resident is set back approximately 68 feet from the rear property line, which far exceeds setbacks typically found in the single-family residential properties. Therefore, no view impacts are expected along the northern property line. The property abuts the Coyote Creek Channel to the west, and beyond the channel to the west is Don Kanabe Regional Park. The subject property abuts the cul-de-sac of Taos Circle to the south, and no view impacts are expected due to the existing front yard setback from the property line and the width of the street from the existing single-family residential properties. This is the proposed site plan. The proposed additions meet all setbacks and related development standards of the single-family residential zone. This is the proposed first floor plan. The applicant is proposing to demolish most of the existing single-family two-story residence and garage and leave a portion of the first floor wall along the east elevation and also retain most of the existing foundations. I have shaded the existing walls that will remain in red to better have you understand what walls will remain after demolition. An additional 148 square feet of garage is proposed so that the home will go from a 2-car garage to a 3-car garage. The proposed first floor addition is 1,300 square feet, and upon completion, the total floor area will, with the existing first floor area, will be 2,332 square feet. Will include an entry foyer, a great room, a kitchen, bedroom, office, yoga room, an elevator, and 2 bathrooms. This is the proposed second floor plan. The applicants have requested approval of a 1,529 square foot second floor addition. The existing second floor and second floor addition will total 2,070 square feet in area and will include a primary bedroom with bathroom, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, laundry room, elevator, and a bonus room. This is the proposed roof plan. The roof of the residence will be covered with a terracotta brown colored blend lightweight clay tile. The architectural style of the residence is contemporary. The residence will be finished with natural linen, beige colored stucco, and pure ivory, white colored trim. The south front elevation will feature Eldorado stone veneer in a brown tone color along the base of the home, the garage, the front porch, and columns, and on a portion of the second floor. The stone veneer wraps around the sides of the home and terminates at the west side gate. The rear of the house will feature stone-covered patio with a deck above, and the walls of the deck are enclosed with stone-covered rail posts that include opaque glass inserts. The stone veneer on this elevation, which is the east, wraps around the base of the home, leading to the front entry door and new covered porch. The home has been designed with various building offsets to break up the massing of the home. As explained in the agenda report, the east elevation has been revised since the project was presented to the Planning Commission in January, and the first floor windows in the great room and foyer have been increased in height to allow for more light in these areas. So if you look at the longer windows along the bottom floor, they were a little shorter, but they're doing that just to allow more light into the rooms. And that was one of the changes. I think that caused some structural engineering changes as well. This is the proposed west elevation, which shows the stone-covered rear yard deck, the stone-covered elements on the front elevations that have been wrapped around to the west elevation. This is the paint color material board submitted by the applicant, which has been placed on the dais for the Planning Commission's review. Before you this evening is consideration of Precise Plan 2023-18, a proposal to construct the previously discussed first floor addition, garage addition, and second floor addition to an existing single-family residence. At this time, it is recommended that the Planning Commission review and discuss the information provided, conduct a public hearing, and adopt a resolution approving Precise Plan 2023-18. This ends the PowerPoint presentation. Staff has determined that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA. No public comments were received by staff regarding the proposed project. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have at this time. The project architect is in the audience tonight and can answer any questions if needed.
Thank you. Are there any questions or suggestions from the commissioners? Yes.
I have a question. I know other cities, when once approvals are made, Planning Commission approvals are made, there's some cities that once that expires, if they don't go through with the project, like Hawaiian Gardens is a year, they charge a fee, or they can charge a fee for an extension. Do we do any of that?
We could have granted an extension if they had come to us within 6 months, or we could have brought them for an extension, let's say, of the previous Precise Plan. But because they waited 10 months, it was beyond a reasonable time frame to take them for a kind of like an amendment to grant an extension. So the project just died. In this case, we did charge them for the new mail out to resubmit it to the Planning Commission again to pay for those costs. But, that was it.
Thank you.
I have a question as well. It's just more for refreshing my memory. So this one, we're talking about a wall again. The wooden's coming down. That's an extra condition of approval. And you said it's considered a return wall. Will you just refresh my memory what constitutes per our code, what a return wall is?
Sure. So when we talk about the walls along the side, and the walls in the back, those are your perimeter walls, so to speak.
Okay.
So that's how the code addresses perimeter walls. Those are the property line walls. When the wall returns into the house, they call it a return wall. And these are the walls that uh, usually contain a side yard gate. In this case, because of the shape of the property, you have a pretty long side yard, so you'd need a huge gate in order to enclose your yard. So what they've done is they enclosed it with a wood fence. So, but in the municipal code, it says that the return walls, the walls that return from the perimeter walls into the house that aren't a gate, must be block. Yeah,
Thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's an elevator and that's involved in this project, correct?
Yes.
Would you kind of give me some stuff about elevators in a residence in terms of what the codes are for such a thing? Because I've not seen a plan with an elevator inside a residence before, so.
Well, interesting enough, I believe this year we've processed 2 or 3 elevators in residential homes, but they're not necessarily coming before the Planning Commission. So it's not uncommon, and elevators are becoming a lot more economical. It's amazing. They're kind of like lifts. This one looks like an elevator, more traditional type, but there's a lot of what we've approved recently is lifts, and a lot of them are for like residents that are looking to stay in place, right? You can put a fairly economical lift in your home and say you just want to keep your, you don't want to have to go up the stairs. There's all kinds of options. And whereas, years ago, these elevators would be super, unaffordable. I don't know what type they're putting in here. As I said, this one looks more traditional style, but they do have lifts that that people are installing. And like I said, I know for sure we've done at least 3, and they're pretty nice. I've seen them myself in person. I actually went out to look at them. So, as far as the building code, I mean, they just review the structural for the openings, making sure everything's structurally put in. And I'm sure there's building code related to that. And they have to have certain approvals, UL listings and things for safety, a safe product that they check in building department. But I mean, that's about all I could offer you as far as information and my knowledge of elevators.
Yeah, thank you. I thought it was interesting because I know that our
Yeah.
city is getting gray, and so
Yeah.
I think we'd get more and more of this stuff. There's just one more question. There is a window that's shown on the east elevation. These long windows on the first floor. It almost looks like it's right at the, at the bottom of it. Am I looking at it correctly? Is it from like the ceiling to the floor kind of thing? Because
What I think that we can ask the architect. The architect
Sure.
is here in the audience, but I believe that that area of the house is pretty tall. Like it might be 2-story in height. Like the first floor might be all the way up to the second floor. If you understand. Let me see. Let me look at the plan real quick. All right. So if you look at the first floor and the second floor on your exhibits, you'll see the east elevation is towards the bottom of the drawing. Those where those tall windows are. So the foyer and the yes, so the first floor and the second floor are open. They're completely open. Where you have, I think it's called a cathedral ceiling, right? So it's all the way up, and there's no floor in between. So it's a 2-story height first floor area, and so there's normally you couldn't put a window that tall because you would hit the floor of the second floor. But in this case, they could put more elongated windows because there's no floor in that area. It's a 2-story height in that portion of the home.
We're talking about the same. So the east elevation on the ground floor shows 4 windows, rectangular, and it almost looks like they start. I mean, I guess if the architect is here, we can ask them. Are you the architect? Yeah.
You
Would
wanna
you
do
mind
that?
like shedding some light on that?
You have to open the public hearing, I believe.
Oh, sorry. Would you open the public hearing?
All right,
Okay.
if you just want to wait. Yeah.
So the total floor area is going to be over 5,000. Am I correct? 5,107.
All right. The total floor area without the garage will be 3,218 square. Sorry,
3,000.
sorry, wrong one. Sorry. Sorry.
Page 5.
Yeah. So the total
Says-
floor area without the 3-car garage is 4,402 square feet.
4,400. Okay. Right. Now, anything over 38 or 3,900, if I mistake not, does it need fire sprinklers in the house?
That's a building code question. I am not
I-
sure.
I
But
think I'm not sure again. I recollect reading something saying as per the new codes over 38 or 3,900, they need fire sprinklers and they need solar panels.
there's a threshold for all of that for sure is required. But I don't happen to know the thresholds. But because this is reviewed by both, it goes through planning first, then it goes to county building safety. We have a signed building safety plan checker in our office. They check all code to find out if sprinklers are required, and if they are, they have them do it, or if solar panels are required, then they make them do it. It's typically a new house, but this is,
Right.
well, the plan checker is going to have to make a
So
determination.
this will not state that even if it is required. Am I correct?
The what now?
This will not state that it's required or not required.
No, we wouldn't get into that because that's all through the function of the building and safety review
Gotcha.
of the project. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to make a comment. Commissioner Gandhi, I have some of the confusion that you have as well, because when you look at this package and then you look at these, the pictures here for those windows look like they go to the foundation. But on this package, they don't go to the foundation. And so I think, I understand where you're headed and what you're saying. So this is Exhibit 14 in the 8.5 by 11. But then if you look here, I don't see an exhibit number on here, but it's this page of this one. And so when you look at these pictures, these windows here, they go like to the foundation. But when we're looking at the plans that are in here for the same elevation, those windows don't go to the foundation.
Okay. I just looked at that again, and it appears that there is an incorrect elevation for east elevation. So that's a very, very good catch on you guys' part. But yes, so if you look at the presentation package for the east elevation, that's the correct elevation. We'll definitely get that corrected for the report for the file. Yes, so the east elevation, okay, so let me this is the elevation, how it should look. And somehow the wrong elevation was placed on the east elevation for Exhibit 14. That's the previous. So now you get to look at what it looked like before. So that's the previous rendition of how the house looked. And the one on the screen, the one in the presentation package that you received has that correct elevation that's shown on the screen.
And then I would suggest that when we do open the public comment section, we call the architect or the applicant to the podium to provide clarification on the windows and the intent to be really the size of the first floor.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Having none, I'll close the commissioner section. We will now open the public comments section for this. If anybody in the audience has any questions, please come forward, state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes.
Do I gotta? Hello? Okay. Yes. Thank you, Chair and Planning Commission members, for your time today and review and consideration of this project. My name is Amy Ho, and I am the architect for 4451 Taos Circle. So should I go in and answer the questions?
Yeah,
first?
go ahead.
Okay.
It's just, my question was, the windows that are actually with the correct rendering look like a very long, but instead of placing in the middle of the thing, you placed it at the bottom of it. I'm wondering why.
Yes, so if you look at the east elevation, where those four tall, slender windows are, the first two on the left in, I guess, in coordination with the windows on the second floor, in that specific area is the double height ceiling for the entry foyer. So in between the 3 sets of windows on the second floor and the 2 slender windows on the first floor, that is all, I guess, open 2-story space. And those slender windows do almost go down to the foundation. There's about 8 inches from the foundation, concrete foundation, so that you have enough room for your sill plates and things and framing for the window to get nailed in. But the owner did want to have more light on that side of the house, just because it's kind of the more common area, and having it, that area facing north, they wanted to try to get in as much light as possible into that area.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to understand why the windows are placed lower rather than in the middle of the wall. I mean, most of the windows you see, they're placed towards the upper part because they're smaller windows. But these being very tall, is this like an architect element in there, which is why it's lower, or just
The tops of the windows, we wanted to
bottoms?
be
Yeah.
consistent with all the tops of the windows on that first floor, and then to create more glazing or window area, we had to like move it down.
Okay.
We wanted to be consistent on the first floor of having all the tops of the windows at the same height.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you. By the way, I'll just say it's a nice design and it's a nice project. So, congrats.
Thank you.
What,
Thank you, Chair.
what's the height of those windows? Is it, I thought I saw like, is it over 8 feet?
I believe the window height is about 7'4".
Okay.
So the tops of the windows are at 8 foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, having those long windows.
I had one more question, and is it? Yeah. On the west side elevation, you have those. I'm presuming those are doors or are those windows?
Yes, those are kind of French doors. that
French
open
doors,
out.
and so they're flat along the wall, or are they like jutting out?
No, they are
flat?
flush, yeah, with the wall.
Cool. Thank you.
Anyone else has any questions?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I had a couple of questions. So then, to add on to that east elevation on A2.1, so to compare the two, in addition to the bottom windows, it looks like the second floor windows were also kind of changed.
Yes.
Yeah,
The-
like there's, yeah, the three on the second floor were kind of elongated and then kind of look like they're more connected together.
Yes.
thing, and then-
That was another request for the owner to get more natural light into that space. The original design had 3 small bullet windows in that 2-story space, and he wanted to just to get bigger windows for more natural light into that area.
Okay, great. And then my other question was for the north elevation rear. So it looks like that's there's the under the balcony. I'm guessing that's the covered patio area. And then is that windows or look like doors?
Yes, so on the first floor, those are kind of like stacking sliding doors that will open all the way up and kind of stack on one side of the room and are underneath the covered patio area.
Thank you.
I have a question. So again, coming back to east side elevation. The window from the left side, second window from the left. That's a smaller size as compared to the other 4 on the right hand side.
Correct, yes.
So to keep it symmetrical, from the architectural design perspective, wouldn't it be better to keep all the 4 windows on the right the same size as the second window from the left?
The second window from the left is located in a hallway on the first floor and is underneath the entry porch. And so I think because that part of the entry porch is more public, they wanted to kind of reduce the number or the size of the windows in that area. Whereas in the entry foyer and the great room, it's more of the common areas for the house, and so they wanted to open those windows up more. And it would be behind, like in the side yard with a side wall or separating it from the front yard and the rear.
And would these windows kind of could be opened completely, or they would be?
The tall, slender windows are fixed windows, so they wouldn't be operable. It would be more for just light.
So they cannot be opened.
They cannot.
They can or cannot?
Cannot.
Cannot. Okay. All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else in the audience would like to have any questions or comments? Seeing none, we close the public comment section. May we have the motion of approval?
I'll make a motion to approve item 7B.
We have second.
I second.
Thank you, members of the Planning Commission. I have a motion made by Commissioner Gandhi and a second made by Commissioner Byrd approving Precise Plan 2023-18 as described in the agenda report. At this time, I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Byrd,
Aye.
Commissioner Gandhi,
Yes?
Commissioner Polito,
Yes?
Vice Chair Gilheis,
Yes.
Chair Javeri.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Next item on the agenda is 7C. Review and consideration to waive full reading and adopt a resolution of the City Roads Planning Commission approving Precise Plan 2023-19.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, item 7C this evening, as you mentioned, is a proposal under Precise Plan 2023-19, a proposal to construct a first and second floor addition to an existing 2-story home. This presentation will be given by Associate Planner Matrey Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Good evening, Chair and members of the Cerritos Planning Commission. Property owners of 13527 Droxford Street are proposing to construct a 500 square foot first floor addition and a 623 square foot second floor addition to an existing two-story residence. For details of the project, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen for a presentation. This is an aerial view of the subject property, which is located east of Carmenita Road and south of the 91 freeway. This is a large aerial view that shows the details of the property. The property is bordered on the north, east, and west by single-family homes, and on the south by Droxford Street, across from which are also single-family homes. A review of the subject properties found several existing property conditions that are not in compliance with the standards and requirements of the Cerritos Municipal Code. As a result, the proposed project as part of the proposed project, property owners will be required to make additional improvements by way of project-specific conditions to bring the property in compliance with the municipal code. This is a view of the front of the existing two-story home, looking north from Droxford Street. In the front yard area, the driveway has been extended to the east without city approval, resulting in an existing side yard landscape planter that is less than 3 feet wide. Additionally, the pedestrian walkway to the west of the driveway is not currently separated from the driveway by 18 inches, by an 18-inch planter. And lastly, there is an unpermitted 5-foot tall solid block wall within the front yard area. As a result, project-specific condition of approval 42 has been added to require the removal of a portion of the existing driveway along the east side of the property line to establish a minimum 3-foot wide landscape planter in that area. Project-specific condition 43 has been added to require the removal of a portion of the walkway to establish a minimum 18-inch landscape planter in this area. And project-specific condition 44 has been added to require the applicant to obtain city approval and the appropriate permits to reduce the height of the existing block wall in the front yard area to a maximum solid height of 30 inches with 2 feet 6 inches of wrought iron or other open fencing material as required by the Cerritos Municipal Code. This is a view of the rear yard of the existing two-story home where there currently exists a patio that was constructed without city approval and or permits, which will be demolished as a part of this project. This is a view of the west side yard of the subject property that shows existing water softener equipment also installed without appropriate city approval and a permit. Project-specific condition 45 has been added to require either the removal of the unpermitted water softener equipment or the relocation of this equipment into the garage with appropriate permits and approvals. This is an adjacent neighbor plan, shows the location of the second-story windows of the subject property and their relationship to the existing windows on the adjacent properties. As shown on the plan, the home to the west of the subject property is a two-story residence with an existing second-floor window that will align with the proposed second-floor window of the subject property. However, this existing window of the adjacent neighbor is a bathroom window with obscured glass and a sill height above 5 feet. Therefore, any possibility of privacy issues arising from the window placement have been mitigated through the project's design and the existing window conditions. Therefore, there are no privacy concerns related to issues arising from window placement on the subject property. This is the proposed site plan. As mentioned, the applicants are proposing to construct a 500 square foot first floor addition and a 623 square foot second floor addition to the existing single family residence. The project will meet all setback and lot coverage requirements. This is the proposed first floor plan. Upon completion, the first floor will include a living room, a dining room, a family room, a kitchen, a pantry, a powder room, and a mud room. This is the proposed second floor plan. Second floor will include a master bedroom with a master bathroom, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a laundry room, and a den. This is the front elevation of the residence. Currently features brick veneer and vertical wood siding, all of which will remain. This is the rear elevation. The rear elevation is faced with vertical siding between the roof eaves and includes decorative stucco band to match the enhanced material found on the front elevation. This is the east side elevation. The roof of the resident will be covered with a Santa Barbara lightweight tile. All windows will be detailed with a wood trim. This is the west side elevation, which features the same architectural elements as indicated in previous slides. The architect has prepared a color palette and materials board for the Planning Commission's review, which is provided to you at the dais. All exterior colors and materials will be subject to approval of the Department of Community Development to ensure that these elements complement the entire house and the surrounding homes. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Precise Plan 2023-19, subject to all the conditions of approval contained in the report. The project is categorically exempt from SEQA review, and to date, staff has not received any comments as a result of the public hearing notice. The architect and homeowners are in the audience, and we are happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any of my fellow commissioners have any suggestions, any questions for the staff? Yes, Commissioner Gandhi.
Thank you, Chair. On Exhibit 1, or Exhibit 12, that's the north rear elevation. Is that gray shading a shadow thing?
Yes, that is.
And the shadow is coming from where?
However, the architect interprets where the sunlight is coming from.
Okay, I'm just confused as to why
Yeah.
the shadow's there. Also on page 5 of the packet, I think there is an error. It says total floor area with 2-car garage and total floor area without 3-car garage.
That is a mistake that we will correct.
Okay, just wanted to point that out. That's it. I have nothing more.
Thank you, Commissioner Gandhi. Any other?
Thank you, Chair. I just had one question on Exhibit 7. Behind the block wall, it says there's new landscape. Is that part of one of the conditions in the total landscape that's required, or?
Yeah, presently it does not meet the front yard landscape requirements and total landscaping of 40%. And by adding that portion of landscaping behind the new block wall, they will increase their landscaping to meet the municipal code requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else, fellow commissioners? Seeing none, it's closed. Anybody else? We now open the public comments. Anyone else, anyone in the audience has any questions or suggestions? Please come forward, state your name, address, and your 5 minutes. Seeing none, public comments section closed. Anyone from our fellow commissioners would like to say anything? Any questions for the homeowners or architect?
No, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion
Sure.
to waive the full reading and adopt a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission approving Precise Plan 2023-19.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a first by Commissioner Gilheis and a second by Commissioner Gandhi. I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Byrd,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandhi,
Yes.
Commissioner Polito,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gilheis,
Yes.
and Chair Javeri. Yes. Motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Thank you.
Next, we have reports from the community development.
Yes, thank you, Chair Javeri. I just want to take a moment in the spirit of the holidays to for those who are watching and for the benefit of the commission, to inform the public that we currently have our Santa's holiday float traveling around the city. Actually, even this evening we did. Next week will be the last week of the holiday float. We have designated routes that can be viewed on the city's website. And so I encourage all members of the public to check out the map, see when their homes, when Santa on his float will be traveling through your neighborhood, and go outside and say hello to Santa and the Cerritos team. Thank you to the council for having this float, and you might even see a council member on the float. So, and then besides that, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays. Our next planning commission meeting will be held on Wednesday, January 10th. And so we won't see each other until after the holidays. So I wish the commission and those watching at home a very happy holiday season. Thank you.
Anyone from our fellow commissioners would like to say it? Commissioner Burt.
I'd just like to say how much I appreciate the staff's work on these presentations, all the time and energy that goes into them. Really, really impressive. Thank you.
Commissioner Gerhardz.
Yeah, so as part of my report, I just want to say you guys on the city staff have done an amazing job this year, and every year you always seem to do a little more and a little better. I appreciate the extra added memorandums that you've been putting in our folders, giving us tallies of how many permits are there and how many we've given out and how many have been finalized. The entire staff, you guys are patient and kind, and you really take the time to give us a lot of information to make good decisions for the city. So I greatly appreciate that. And I too would like to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season, and am excited to have that time to spend with family and friends, but look forward to seeing you guys January 10th.
Commissioner.
Thank you. So on November 11th, I attended the Veterans Day ceremony. I just wanted to congratulate the City Council and city staff for a wonderful event commemorating all who have served our nation. And a special thank you to Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva and our Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn for attending as well. I think the most meaningful part of this event is when the reading of the names of veterans who were in attendance at the event and those who are no longer with us. So thank you again to our wonderful staff and council for that annual event. Secondly, I also attended former City Manager Arcalucci's retirement party at the Performing Arts Theater. It was a great reunion of former mayors, city council members, fellow commissioners, and current and former staff and Art's family. Pretty much everyone who has supported Art or worked alongside him through his 52-year tenure with the city. And the key takeaway that I took, which was nice to see, was the photo montage and pretty much Art's last day at City Hall when the staff did a big send-off and captured it for us to look. It just reflects the entire staff being out there in the foyer and just captured the respect and admiration of this amazing human being who has served our city so well. So I was just glad to be a part of attending that event. And lastly, I attended on December 2nd, Assemblymember Sharon Quirk-Silva's walk and talk event at Heritage Park. Topics that she had covered were the state budget, homelessness, affordable housing, and college, which we're all concerned about and are top priorities in our state and as well as locally. And she's doing other cities in her district also the same kind of thing. Lastly, or a couple more things, wanted to echo my fellow commissioners that we have an amazing staff here. You go above and beyond to provide us with the staff reports, your presentations, and just talking with Ms. Aguila earlier, she was telling me about the holiday party and how it's a celebration also of years of service staff, and just how long a lot of you have put in the many years, just as, almost as much as art. It's just a reflection of the high caliber of people that we have here, and all of you are committed, pretty much your second family, your second home. I mean, Metro City is almost at 24 years. Sandy said she was 30 plus years. Kristen said 19 years. So it's just a reflection of the love you have for our city and for us residents. We benefit from that. So just wanted to thank you all. And then lastly, best wishes for a happy holidays and a happy new year to our residents and their families, and see you all in 2024. Thank you.
Commissioner Gandhi.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I have no idea what these people are talking about. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We do have the best staff here. That's not even a question. You guys have worked so hard, and you make this so much easier for us and the residents. So I'm just kidding. I think, like Commissioner Gilhai said, and Commissioner Pulido and Commissioner Birch said, I won't repeat it because they're far more eloquent in the way they speak, but I will agree with them in terms of the compliments they've given you guys. I am also really happy to see this report, the building permit activity report. It really shows the wonderful work you do in terms of the numbers and the data. So I'm really happy to see that. I do have a few questions, though, regarding the report. And so if you don't mind me asking, the permits issued versus the permits finalized. Could you tell me a little bit of the difference?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner Gandhi. What Commissioner Gandhi is referring to is a memorandum that is provided to the City Council as well as the Planning Commission, and it provides a quarterly update of completed and ongoing projects in the city. On that memo is a table of building permits issued year to date, as well as building permits finalized year to date. And so, for the benefit of the public, through the month of October 2023, the city has issued 2,241 permits. And so, issued, for clarification purposes, means projects submitted, improvements submitted to the city for approval, review by my great staff in community development. There's lots of comments today about how great the staff is, and I take no credit for that. The supervision of current planning manager Sandy Cisneros and then advanced planning manager Sabrina Chan, all the credit goes to them and their great staff that I'm lucky to lead. So just a side note on that. But so the 2,241 permits issued are projects reviewed for compliance with Cerritos Municipal Code and high development standards and regulations for anything from an air conditioner to a tenant improvement for a commercial project. And so permits issued is after a project or a permit application is deemed approvable by planning staff. Applicants can obtain a permit, which is required by the municipal code and the Los Angeles County building codes for construction or improvements. So permits issued, total permits pulled for improvements or projects in the city. The next category is permits finalized. And so after a permit is issued, the homeowner, contractor, developer, etc., completes the work. They do the improvement, they do the work. And upon verification, in some instances by planning staff, but in all instances by LA County building inspector staff, upon verification with compliance of that the improvements or the project was completed in compliance with the municipal code and applicable building codes, projects are deemed complete by way of finalization of that building permit. So permits issued, beginning of project with city approval, and permits final, end of project with city approval and county approval.
Thank you very much. So essentially finalized is when it's all cooked and done.
And deemed improved or completed in compliance with municipal code and building code standards. Yes.
Wonderful. In this package, there was a mention of charging stations at the dealership. I should have marked that. Lexus. And there was also a note of another dealership that has vehicle charging stations that were approved.
Toyota.
Toyota.
Yes.
Could you tell me a little bit about what the process is? Because I don't think we've had anything come in front of the Planning Commission in terms of charging stations, their approval, and what the trend is in the city right now.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. So when the city receives applications for both residential and commercial electric vehicle charging stations, those are reviewed and streamlined, are expedited by planning staff as an administrative review. And that is pursuant to applicable state law, which encourages all cities to streamline the review and approval process to lessen emissions, et cetera, to promote alternative greenhouse gas emission savings by way of electric vehicle charging stations. But nevertheless, upon receipt of a proposal, a permit application for electric vehicle charging stations, they're reviewed by planning staff, city staff, and then in some instances, depending on the scope of work, by Los Angeles County staff as well. So what is referenced in the memo are proposals that were reviewed and approved on a planning side for both Lexus of Cerritos and Toyota of Cerritos car dealerships, and they're relatively small. Lexus was a proposal for 5 new charging stations, and Toyota was a proposal for 6 new electric vehicle charging stations in support of their fleet vehicles. And so those projects were reviewed by planning staff. Permits for the Lexus one were issued in November, and so they're currently working on the project to install those charging stations. And then the Toyota project, they had some expired permits, and so through the electric vehicle charging station process, we worked with them to complete or renew those expired permits, and work is underway for Toyota. In terms of trends, I'd say, I don't know, maybe Sandy can provide additional insight, but I'd say just even in the last year or 2 years, and not just talking about Cerritos Auto Square dealerships, a lot of commercial properties, industrial properties are submitting proposals to the city to include electric vehicle charging stations for their employees or for their employees of the tenants within commercial centers or patrons of those commercial shopping centers. As the commission may be aware, there is a large charging station area at the Los Cerritos Center with an expansion that was completed in 2023 as well. And so the trend is that businesses and property owners in the city, as well as residential property owners, are submitting applications for the facilitation of providing electric vehicle charging stations for their patrons or for their employees or for private use by residential property owners.
Have you seen applications by gas stations for commercial use of charging stations in Cerritos?
If I can ask for clarification, if we've received applications for electric vehicle charging stations at gas stations?
Yeah, so gas stations putting charging stations as a commercial, instead of selling gas, they're selling charging. Is that something that has come across? Or not?
Not to my knowledge. I would defer to current planning manager Sandy Cisneros, but I don't believe so.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, and then does the city have any plans, since we are a utility, we are an electric utility, is there any plans by the city of using our utility as a means of providing charging stations to the residents or for commercial use?
In terms of providing like free of charge electric vehicles charging stations to the public for use, it's not. It's my understanding that that is not currently considered. But for the benefit of the public, and because you mentioned it, I will take this opportunity to inform those who are watching that the city of Cerritos does have its own electric utility, and discounts, a 5% discount on electricity costs are provided currently to commercial and industrial property owners, and it's my understanding that that is being expanded to residential property owners, that that discount is going to be rolled out here and available pursuant to city council direction. I will turn your attention to Acting Director of Public Works, Dario Samos, if he'd like to enhance or add anything that I said regarding the city's electric utility and the discount available to property owners in the city.
Thank you, Kristen. As Kristen had mentioned, she's absolutely correct. The city of Cerritos does have an electric utility in which the general process of the city is that we produce the electricity, but we do not transport it. So we offer a 5% discount for businesses that elect to purchase electricity from the city versus purchasing electricity from Edison. And so on the generation charge, there's a 5% discount on the generation. We currently have 3 modes of electric energy generation. We, at the very first inception, we purchased a portion into the Magnolia Power Plant, which is located in Burbank, which uses natural gas. We also have purchased a small share in the Hoover Dam when a small portion was available to be purchased. And we also have just recently, via a cooperative agreement, have purchased a small portion of the power plant. It's called the Daggett, which is in San Bernardino County, which is a solar panel generating farm, as they're so called. So we have 3 modes of electricity generation that that the city, through the utility agency, generates electricity. That power is transported from those locations to the city through Edison lines, through Edison wires, but the generation itself is less expensive for us to generate than it is for Edison. Therefore, we transfer those savings via 5% discount currently to any business that elects to purchase electricity from the city. We have not yet extended that savings to residences, but we are soon to offer that discount. We believe that within 2024, sometime by mid-year, we should be able to have that offer to some residents, not all, but some. As far as electric vehicle generating, the city currently does have electric vehicle generating locations. There are 2 sites here at the City Hall parking lot, and also 2 sites, I believe actually 4 if I'm not mistaken, within, the parking lot at the Cerritos Center for Performing Arts. And those sites are not free of charge. You must purchase that electricity, and they are not solar powered. In other words, the electricity does come from the grid, as it's so called. However, it is those savings. They, as I understand it, they are slightly less expensive than your average vehicle charger, unless you're charging in your own vehicle in your own home. So as of current, the city does not have any plans to perform any solar powered charging stations, as the infrastructure for that is a little significant. We'd have to have a significant parking lot in order to produce the electricity, and the power panels, the solar panels, they don't generate a sufficient amount of electricity for, let's say, the area that they cover. So you require more area to generate the electricity than you would actually be able to charge. But in terms of powering vehicles at this time, we do not have any plans to expand that, as there are other locations within the city, such as Kristen had mentioned, within the Los Cerritos Town Center, that are more efficient and quicker than what the city can provide. And considering that it comes at a cost either way, in terms of efficiency, that location probably would be better for our residents to enjoy.
Thank you. While you're at it, do you want to let the businesses know how they can sign up for the Cerritos thing?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. They can simply call our electric utility. They can speak either with myself, it is a division of Public Works, or they can speak with our utilities administrator, Michael O'Grady. The telephone numbers can be found on our website, and through a simple telephone call and application, we can set up that business to receive a 5% discount on their generation side of the electricity.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to wish everybody happy holidays. Be safe, have a good time. And I guess we'll see you all 2024. Thank you.
Well, I do not plan to play the same music what my co-commissioners have played, but I'll simply say wholeheartedly and sincerely, thank you to the city staff. Thank you very much. You guys are simply amazing. In that spirit, I would like to wish all of you happy holidays. Happy holidays to my fellow commissioners, and happy holidays to all the viewers. And we'll see you in 2024. Thank you. The meeting is now adjourned.